Welcome to today's Hot Topics panel discussion. Maximizing your reach, tips to stand out in a competitive market, live from the Fabre Framework studio. We're thrilled to bring you a session focused on exactly what it takes to stand out and stay competitive in today's fast-moving market. In a world where buyers are browsing before they ever book a showing and where every realtor is working to build brand recognition, how do you truly maximize your reach? The answer lies in powerful partnerships, intentional marketing, and strategic presentation. And that's exactly what our panelists are here to unpack. Let's meet the experts who will be sharing their insights today. Tammy Kill, a mortgage marketing specialist from Lake Michigan Credit Union. Tammy is a powerhouse when it comes to blending mortgage expertise with marketing savvy. At LMCU, she partners with realtors to create co-branded campaigns, develop creative open house strategies, and bring financial tools directly into the listing spotlight. Whether it's a rate buy down payment assistance, or marketing collateral that drives traffic, Tammy helps agents turn their lender relationships into revenue-generating opportunities. And Rita Olivia, founder and lead designer of Olive Leaf Staging. Rita is the visionary behind Olive Leaf Staging, where she helps realtors turn listings into showcases. With a background in both physical and virtual staging, she knows exactly how to craft environments that inspire emotion and drive action. Her work helps homes photography beautifully, show up purposefully, and sell quickly. And because in today's digital first market, your visual presentation is everything. And we're so glad they are both here with us at the Fabre Framework studio.
I don't know about y'all. It feels like I'm at a boxing match right now. I
Right.
Of course. I got to give that energy at the beginning for us to get this started. When you get an intro like that, you feel ready. Y'all feel ready, right?
Oh, yeah.
Rita, I feel like we should have came in.
Listen, I saw the jacket and I already knew where we were. I was like, the jacket already says.
Yes. Ladies, I'm glad to have you both here.
Thank you, Quan.
Thank
you
you
for having me. I'm so honored to be here and represent Lake Michigan Credit Union, LMCU, as our signage states and as our branding states. But thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Listen, let's get started. My first question is for you, Tammy. What are the most common questions buyers ask lenders during open houses, and how should realtors prepare?
So a lot of common questions we get right now during an open house are, number one, what's my payment going to be? We start then with, let's talk about how much you're going to put down. What would you like to put down? There are lenders out there, and Lake Michigan is one of them. We have a zero down option. But some people want to put 5, 10, 20% or more down. So we start there. We also start with what are you comfortable with making a payment on? Because a lot of times in the market, they'll say, I'm paying $3,200 for rent, and now they're equating that to, then I can afford $3,200 a month in a mortgage payment. That may or may not be the case depending on other factors. So we always ask, what are you comfortable with? Because at that point we can back into then what the payment would look like, what a mortgage would look like. So there's a lot of factors. Another question that we get asked is, can I get a 3% rate? So
an exact rate amount.
Right. Buying down points. But in today's market, that's going to be rather costly. It's not, I know a lot of people are focused on that, right? The rate, because of what it was during COVID, just not too long ago. And that was a very busy time for us. So we get that question a lot asked to us as lenders. And we just try to explain, look at the statistics, what rates have done over the years. That was an anomaly. We look at what the housing prices did over the years, right? And then now comes the topic of, I'm waiting for the crash. Okay, again, another anomaly, right? Because certain products were out during that time. And so it's all about education at that point, really to pinpoint what payment they're comfortable with, what are they looking for in a payment, talking about with the realtor, because lenders, a lot of us, maybe some are, but a lot of us are not licensed real estate agents. So we really can't give real estate advice. But we partner with the realtor on talking about home values and what they've done over the years. And then purchasing now. If you can afford this house now, purchase now, because you can always refinance down the road.
Why is it that if somebody can afford a $3,200 monthly rent bill, they can't afford a $3,200 mortgage? That kind of seems almost erroneous in my opinion.
Yes. So sometimes apartment complexes, landlords that they rent from have different qualifying factors, of which I don't know what those are to speak of. But as lenders, we look at a different qualifying factor. And so depending on the program, we'll take 45%, 50% of their gross income, factoring in debt, minus electricity, water, cable, things of that nature. But then if they also pay child support or alimony, we factor that in if it's applicable as well, depending on child support, how long that's going to continue.
And most landlords don't do that.
And
They look at how much you make gross monthly and that's it.
Correct. Yes. And a lender, there may be some out there. Again, I don't want to speak as an all-inclusive for everybody, but I know for myself and the past lenders that I've worked for, and my friends in the business, we do not take 100% of your gross income to qualify you for a mortgage. Yeah, okay. That just wouldn't be smart lending.
That makes sense.
Well, and I was, I've heard that before too. But as a homeowner, like your tax bill could go up, your homeowner's insurance could go up. So when you have your rent payment, it is what it is, until the end of your lease. But once you're locked into a mortgage, a lot of people are having that now where their homeowner's insurance has jumped up or their taxes jumped up and now they can't afford their mortgage. But, it's like, that's why you guys probably build in a little bit of buffer, right?
Yes, things will change. Life brings changes in itself, right? Forget about taxes and insurance. Life can bring an expense change to someone.
Mm-hmm.
So
Like
we want to
having a
factor that,
kid.
right. And we can't go down a what if road, right? Because that can go on endlessly.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. And it's getting a little off topic, but homeowners insurance is a big concern, especially within the last few years, the hurricanes that we've had. And now with Ian, right, that happened in Southwest Florida. It was very tragic. And then Helene and Milton just bringing in those surges of water where areas had not flooded in decades and now flooded. FEMA comes in and they will rezone and remap, and now a lot of those individuals are required to have flood insurance.
I like what Rita said about your mortgage will vary because nobody told me when I bought my house that the next year I was going to be paying a lot more. And I'm like, where did this come from?
Yes, I'm so sorry that happened to you. So what changed your real estate taxes?
That's exactly what happened.
That's
Because then it got reassessed. And this is crazy. It jumped up by $7,000.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah. I called Hillsborough property appraiser. I was like, how's this even legal? Because it went from like $3,500 in property taxes to $11,000.
Was it? Can I ask? Was it an existing home or did you build?
It was a new build.
Okay.
But the person that bought it new, and then I purchased it from them. So they were tax assessed at a lower appraisal value or tax assessed value at like 150, and then it got reassessed at like 400. And I'm like, what's going on here?
Yes, and a lot of people don't realize that we do have to have that. We try to have that conversation with all of our buyers.
Yeah, my lender did not.
I was gonna say I never.
Yeah.
I had to find out that the hard way
The
as well.
hard way,
It wasn't that kind of jump, but it doubled, and I was like, oh, okay, this is what we're doing.
Exactly.
Yes.
Welcome to homeownership.
Welcome to homeownership, and because every county, it's not just in the Bay Area, but yes, taxes will readjust based on that new purchase price. And if someone has been in that home 20 years and now they're selling, their taxes were based on
when they purchased
it, right? And now the new buyer comes in, Taxes are also based on if you have homestead, is it your primary residence? If it's an investment property, you're going to pay full taxes on those. Yeah. But construction, yes, that is so important. I'm glad you brought that up because qualifying, it should not just be on the land. And that's what taxes are initially. It's the land because that house has not been built yet. Once it's built and now it converts over to a permanent mortgage and we have a buyer, the land, I'm just going to throw raw numbers out, let's say is $100,000. Your taxes are based on $100,000. Now you've put a $600,000 house on that, and you've purchased, very easy, for $700,000. Your taxes now, when the county reassesses, will be based on that $700,000.
Right.
Yeah, for qualifying, most lenders, and I know Lake Michigan we will qualify on construction loans or end loans, meaning the builder builds the house, we come in for the permanent financing at the end. No construction. We qualify on the higher taxes. Okay. Yeah, because we know it will increase. So I'm sorry that happened to you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. Rita, let's talk about staging.
Yes.
Tell me, what's the ROI of staging? And how can agents explain this to hesitant sellers?
Okay, so it's not cut and dry with the ROI. And I think this is why staging is a little bit complicated for people to communicate. But the NAR has done studies that have shown that staging can help a house to sell between 3 and 30 times faster. So if at 3 times, we're talking about if the house was going to be on the market for 45 days, it might be on the market for 15 days. And so that is the difference between them paying another mortgage payment. So that's one way to look at the ROI of staging. Also, in terms of the value, there's so many other factors that come into play, but it's up to 10% is what studies have shown, between 1 and 10% in terms of the sales price. So even at 1%, typically staging does not cost you 1%. So on a $500,000 home, staging typically is going to be much less than 1%. So if you're going to get even $5,000 higher sales price because of that, then you're still coming out ahead. But a lot of times, what I have seen is that there's also a lot of intangibles in there that people don't really think about. One thing that staging gives the seller is just like general peace of mind that they have done everything that they can do to get that house sold. Because when we go into stage, we recommend that we are like the last thing. So, we'll tell them about paint and we'll tell them about light fixtures and all of, curb appeal, all of that stuff that needs to be done. And then we put the staging kind of last. So if we get to the point of staging, usually they've done a lot of that other stuff, but if they haven't, at least they know about it. So if their house still isn't selling as quickly as they want, they can wipe out a whole list of items, or they can say, well, she did tell us that the paint colors were kind of crazy, so maybe that's one of the things that we need to go back to. Or they can say, okay, we checked all the boxes, it's the price, So I think that is, I see some sellers, especially ones that have had houses on the market, and then they're coming to us after the house is listed. I see them in a state of stress and frustration because if their agent hasn't brought up staging, they are like, I don't know why they didn't bring it to me. I don't know why they didn't suggest it, but I see other houses staged, so I think it should be staged, but would this have worked? So it puts them in this questioning, and it just makes their home selling experience much more stressful. So I think that there's a lot of value in just the peace of mind of knowing that you've checked your boxes, you're putting your best foot forward, you're making your best effort. If you have to list it for $550 and you can't lower the price to $499, then you can say, well, it's at $550. I can't move off that price, but I've done everything else. I've checked all those other boxes, and now you're just waiting for the market to catch up with your price. So yeah, I think there's a lot of different ways that there's a return for the seller. And then also on the agent side, to be honest, you're able to market a much better product. You know, it's going to look a lot better. You're putting out better pictures. Even when you're taking that listing and presenting it to your next client, your next potential client, you've got pictures of a beautifully staged home, and they know that you're a serious agent and that you took those extra steps for that client and got that house sold faster, and you're going to give them that same kind of care.
Is there any way for a seller to pass through the cost of staging onto the buyer?
Ooh.
So there is.
You know what? I honestly, I'm sure there is. I think that might be more of might have to do with the loan and the lending part of it.
The sale price.
Yeah, I was gonna say we do offer a pay at close program. So in that regard, there is a way for them to pay us at close. So if they are able to build their staging into their sale price, or I mean, some people build it into their commission as well. I don't know if we're allowed to mention the C word on here.
You can.
But
you can.
But I've worked with plenty of agents who successfully raised their commission a bit. Honestly, much more than my staging fee. They raise their commission a bit to cover the cost of staging, and then either the agent covers it, which, when the commission is raised, that ties it back into the price of the house. So I guess, yes, there are ways that they could do it like that.
Mm-hmm. Can I add something to
that?
Yeah, Glenn, I do have a question. When you mentioned adding it like on the lender side, no, the lender will look at, if that's in a sales contract, that's an inducement to purchase, and we take that out.
Right. If it's a line item in there.
If it's a line item, right, we'll take that out.
So then that's where the commission structure.
Then the realtor, the realtor will handle that. But I have a question on staging, if I may.
Of course.
Okay,
Yeah, this is an open conversation forum here.
So in my own house, I'm always, when I redo it, I'm always thinking, like, oh, well, what if I sell? I don't want to have to come in at the last minute. But I hear, and I always refer them back to the realtor because I'm on the lending side. I don't have anything to do with that. Mm-hmm. But they'll say, we had to put away all our personal items. Mm-hmm. We had to rent a storage.
Yes.
So in what instances, are you recommending that as someone staging that house, and then why? What's the reason?
Yeah. So, well, first of all, I try to meet people where they are, and I am providing people the best practices. So for me, it's never a have to, but I'm going to give them the best recommendation. I have sold my own homes with a full family photo collage on the wall, and I had a buyer tell me, oh, that's one of the reasons why we love the house, because we could see how your family grew and blah, blah, blah. It's a big no-no as a stager. I was going to say, I always tell people, take that stuff down. Now, I was out of bandwidth. I was running a business. I had my children. I couldn't do it, and I didn't want to. So we left it up, and we made it work. And that's how I treat my clients. You know what I mean? So I'm going to tell them, really, you should depersonalize. Take down your family photos. If you've got a photo collage up there that you worked really hard on, let's get some black and white neutral photos and pop those in there. But if they come back and say, yeah, I can't. And then I say, okay, all right, we're going to work a little harder somewhere else where you feel like you can handle it. Sometimes people have a lot of stuff on their walls and a lot of mementos that mean a lot to them. And small items and of course we know lots of items is clutter, but sometimes people can have a house that's not really cluttered, that feels cluttered because they've got a lot of these little things, right? If you had a lot of these...
I knew she was going to attack the studio. I was waiting for it.
Oh, I was waiting for my chance. I didn't know it was going to come this soon. No, I'm just kidding. I love these. But sometimes you go to a house and they'll have 3 small picture frames this size here, and then 3 more here, and then 3 more there. And so it just kind of closes the room in. Whereas in staging, a lot of times we use big, larger scale artwork to make the wall look bigger, to draw the eye up, to expand those walls out. And so we might be saying, take down your personal items to depersonalize. And we might also just be saying, we need to make things look less clutter and a little bit more expansive. Also, I mean, I've gone into people's houses where, you know, there might be military and they have military awards, or they might be, even if it's a certain sports team.
Let's go Bucks.
Right. And, you know, that's fine, but we want any buyer to walk in and feel like it's their house, and whatever might be in their head, and just, you know, giving them that, like, I just didn't feel like, I used to be a realtor and I had those clients and I'd be like, this house checks all your boxes. And they'd be like, yeah, but just like the energy.
The one painting in the
yeah.
corner.
And, you know, they can't really express it, but it's really because they saw a bunch of FSU stuff all over the house, and go Gators, right?
That's it.
You know, so it's like, I just try to tell people, anything that could be a distraction, if people are going to be looking at that more than they're looking at your house, more than they're appreciating the view or the beautiful countertops, if they're going to be trying to figure out, you know, what rank your spouse got to, or what private school you send your kids to, or whatever, take out anything like that. Like, there was one woman that had these cute pictures of her at a horse track with, you know, a horse that her father had named after her kids in the picture. And I'm like, okay, we get it. Y'all are rich, but like, let's take that down. That's so personal. Yeah. And it's immediately going to give the buyer a certain idea of the type of person who lives here. So that's just the kind of thing. And that's why we tell people to.
So basically, you want to neutralize the home.
We want to
as neutral as possible.
As neutral as possible, not sterile. But I don't want them thinking about you at all, right? I don't want them trying to figure out what kind of person.
Because then they cannot associate that house with themselves if they see pictures of other people and they're like, well, I don't live here.
Exactly. Or maybe they already have their own inherent biases or associations, and that goes opposite to what they feel for themselves. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, we don't own a horse. So now I'm like, well, we could afford this house, but like, who are these people in this neighborhood? Like, wait a second, like, I might be in the wrong place. You know what I mean? So it's just, take all of that out and let them see the house for what it is and appreciate that, instead of starting to come up with the wrong story.
Can you give this podcast room a number out of 1 to 10?
Oh,
I didn't design it.
Actually, I think it's super cute, and it's got a lot of green in it, so that bumps the number
so
up.
Give it a number.
Okay,
let's make sure we say that she's endorsing the Fabre framework.
But give it a number. Give it a number.
I'm gonna give it a 9.25.
Okay.
Oh, 9.25.
Wow.
The young lady that's up front is the one that designed it.
She did a great job. Yeah. Yes,
nice.
it's really cute.
Nice.
She wants to be a stager.
Oh, let me talk to her.
Yeah.
Green. Okay, next time I go to paint, I'm going to have to keep that in mind.
Well, yes. At this time, we're going to take a break, and we'll be returning back to Hot Topics live at the Fabre Framework Studio. We are live back.
Hey, we encourage that. We encourage that.
Are we back? Okay.
I'm here with you.
We are now live back on Hot Topics, live here at the Fabre Framework Studio. All right. These questions are going to be for both of you, so you guys just jump in and answer, all right?
Okay.
All right. What are the key ingredients for a strong agent, lender, stager partnership?
Oh, number one for me, and see if you agree, communication across the board.
Yes.
That's number one, communication. You cannot assume that, so if Rita and I, and let's say you're a realtor, Quan, right, we're all in the same deal. If you're doing an open house and the listing is 700, right, I can't assume that I'm going to know when Rita's coming into stage. I can't assume when the open house is going to be. I can't assume, perhaps you've already done a mailing list to invite certain prospective buyers to your house. I can't assume the profile of those buyers. So it's communication. And talking to the stager as a lender, I would ask, okay, what do you think the profile for the typical buyer coming through is? Because with the purchase price, the location, who the buyer may be, Also, when is that open house? Then I'm going to look at products that we offer. Try to then fit our products to that house, to that buyer that the staging is prepared for.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. I think communication is super important. I had something else I was going to say.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. But yeah, I think communication between the three is really, really important. And also just, I was going to say respect as well.
Yes.
Like, I think everybody has to have a respect of each person's position and role in the process, and honestly speak respectfully.
Yes.
You can get just about anything out of me if you're nice and you're respectful about it. But sometimes I think when one person, gets a little too high and mighty in the process, then things might break down for everybody else, and then that partnership can fall apart.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. And don't you think really all three of us are probably type A personalities?
Oh, she left me out.
Yeah.
All four.
no,
I'm so sorry.
We
Oh,
left Sean out.
geez.
We left-
Thanks,
You could
Tammy.
be the buyer. You're the buyer. You're the buyer. So right, we would all have pretty strong, right, personalities.
Yes.
And maybe a risk for that, talking about respect, you're so right, is someone wants to come in and just try to take control of everything.
Yep.
And I'll speak for the lender, really. The lender shouldn't take control. Okay. We come in with the buyer.
So then what's your best advice for working as a team without overstepping boundaries?
I would say communicate and be consistent. Consistency on the communication. Working together, really, the lender would come in when that house is ready to have an open house. And there's buyers ready. So the realtor and the stager, so yourself and Rita, would work first, and then inviting Sean in as the
Type B
buyer.
personality.
Top personality. At that point, then the lender comes in, and we'll talk about the products. But it's being consistent. Too many times, what I see and hear is, well, I sent an email.
Pick up the phone.
And
Pick up the phone.
do you know how easy it is for me to delete an email?
Yes.
Or for my email to go into quarantine, because sometimes lenders have those firewalls set up, and depending on where the email, right? And I never see it, or I am busy right? So don't just email, right? Call, text, communication, be consistent. That's mine.
Earlier in the show, you mentioned a 0% down product that you guys offer.
Mm-hmm.
What exactly is that?
It's an awesome product.
So is that like FHA? Because FHA is 3.5.
Right. No, that's not FHA.
You better say that for the hot seat.
No.
Say that for the hot seat.
It's our Home Plus 100% financing.
Listen to you.
I like
The property
that right
has
there.
the property.
Yes.
It's based on the property, not the buyer. The property. We talk about this all the time.
And then the interest rate is much higher, I'm assuming.
Oh, the interest rate. When you say much higher, that's relative. So
Higher than someone putting down 20%. Because how does Lake Michigan Credit Union make money if they're lending 100%? They would have to foreclose on the house and boom.
well, it's a portfolio product. So as a credit union, we offer portfolio products. And we also offer agency products. So when I say agency, and I think we're getting off Quan's question here.
You get off. That's why I tried to stop you. I knew.
But I got to plug LMCU.
I know you did.
Agency, I'm talking Ginnie Mae, loans that FHA, right? Government loans go to Ginnie Mae. Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, conforming loans go to them. Some lenders for jumbo loans have private investors they sell to. But as a credit union, Lake Michigan, we do sell to the agencies, but we also have a good suite of portfolio, and it's called our Home Plus. I'm happy to hook you up after this podcast with one of my loan officers, so we'll get back to Quan.
Rita, what you got for best
segue.
advice?
Yeah, I mean, I think I would say have an ultimate goal and then keep that goal in mind. You know,
Yes.
like I have a small team, small staging team, but you know, got a stager, got admin person, guys that help me with moving, but all of us, our goal is to get the house staged. And if one person is just focused on, well, my job is just to move the furniture onto the truck and off the truck, then you end up with that, well, I sent an email,
Yes.
you know, but it's like, well, no, but okay, we're all working together to get this transaction done. So if you're not hearing back the way you want, then, you know, you got to go maybe a little step further and reach out to whoever else is over there that might have the answer that you need. I think if you're doing any type of partnership and your ultimate goal is, you know, to help the seller get that house sold, or, you know, to get that transaction through, like, for instance, I used to have a stance on selling my furniture. Like, I'm not selling my furniture. I don't, you know, but now, like, I've changed my policy. Like, if that's what you need to get the deal done, then sure. Like, we'll sell it. You know, it's because ultimately I am trying to help my agent clients get that house sold. So that's it. I think if everybody has that mindset, then it's a great partnership.
So essentially, they would, when you stage a house, the house is vacant, you stage it, the person comes in to buy the house and says, I also want the furniture, but it's not the seller's furniture, it's your furniture.
Right, exactly.
And then you have to sell it to the seller?
Yeah, so sometimes,
then-
right, so sometimes it gets a little tricky, and it can put me in a tricky position because the seller might say, okay, you know, just sell it to me and I will include it. But sometimes the seller says, well, I'm not buying it. The buyer needs to buy it. But the buyer's like, I can't buy it right now. And so there's timelines with our staging agreements. So when we've had that happen, we do whatever we need to do to work it out. So I've had it where I've sold it to the seller, and I've had it where I've sold it to the buyer at the end of the transaction. Basically, once they buy the house, then they buy the furniture because they're not able to make the big purchase right then.
Oh, that's interesting.
Nice.
Yeah.
So tell me, how can agents create a preferred vendor team that enhances their brand and builds trust?
Yeah, I mean, well, like, okay, so Tammy's on my preferred vendor team now.
Hey, Rita's on mine.
Yes.
I
I
love
mean,
it.
I think it's just a matter of, you know, networking, meeting people, having conversations, and making sure that you come from the same place. You have the same kind of mindset, and that your values align in terms of how you care for your clients and what your goals are. I mean, honestly, working with Star has been fantastic for me because I always have a vendor. Like, if somebody needs something, if we go in the house and it smells, I know I'm sending them to BioSweep. If they need a mover, I've got like 4 or 5 movers. Like, there's always, through the affiliate program, I have pretty much all the vendors I need. But going in person to the meetings, I'm able to meet people, talk to them, find out a little bit more about what they do and how they care for their customers, so that I know who I really want to work with. So that's how I would recommend that. Did I answer that the right way?
You did. You did.
Okay, good.
I would agree. I would agree with that. And let me just plug Star, the Suncoast Tampa Association of Realtors, for those that don't know the Star. But such a fantastic network of affiliates, of realtors, and to get to know them, and I'm going to agree with what Rita said too, align with your values. That is so important, because if you're partnering with someone and your values don't align, that's going to go sideways real quick. And then who's caught in the middle? The client, either the homeowner and or the buyer. So it doesn't make for a pleasant experience, but really getting to know your partners, and more than just in an email or a quick conversation. Take that a step further. This is about relationships. Your preferred vendor you should have a relationship with. Like, you should know them. Not, oh, I know who they are. I don't know them. Go to lunch with them.
Yeah.
Have coffee with them. I mean, if it's what you do, go to happy hour. But, you know, get to know them as a person and really what their values are. So I really agree with what Rita said.
That's rapport building.
Yes.
Take them to Bazille.
Oh yeah.
Real.
Yes,
Never
yes.
been.
What's that?
You never
Oh
been?
yeah, no, I take that back. That's the restaurant in Nordstrom's.
Yeah,
Yeah.
No,
an
I
international
love that
mall.
place.
Bazille is amazing.
Yes.
Oh, it's okay. We'll go.
Yeah.
We'll go.
Tell me, so Tammy, what are some tools or apps realtors and LMOs should be using together?
Well, a lot of lenders will have calculators, financial calculators.
Okay.
That gives a quick snapshot because each product and each scenario could have a different outcome. Each property based on taxes, like you said, Sean, and homeowners insurance. But that gives a quick is using the lender's web pages for those calculators. Also to have from a lender perspective, I think realtors should have 3 preferred. They should have a bank. They should have a loan officer from a bank.
Okay.
They should have a loan officer from a mortgage company or broker. And they should have LMCU as the credit union. You don't have to say that. But they need 3. The bank, the broker, or mortgage company, and the credit union, because each one has their place. Each one can offer something different, and that way that realtor has something for each client.
Okay.
So
That's good.
So I'm just curious, is Lake Michigan Credit Union in Florida?
yes, we are. We have 8 branches in Central Florida. So for Lake Michigan, they call the Tampa Bay area Central Florida. I had to wrap my head around that because, when we live in Florida, we think that's Orlando.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what I think. Yeah.
And I call it Tampa Bay, but we have 7. But we have 21 branches total from the West Coast. We were in Southwest Florida first in 2015 with an acquisition and grew that market. And then with the acquisition of Pilot Bank, 21 or 2, I should know this, sorry, that brought us into Tampa Bay.
You're from Michigan, Tammy.
No, I'm not from Michigan.
No?
No, I'm from Indiana.
But I am.
But I do.
You're from Michigan?
Yeah.
Detroit?
I'm from Detroit.
That's right. That's right.
And Quan and I bleed blue, but
Yes.
that's yes.
Yes, go blue.
That's right. Since we were throwing out sports earlier.
Right.
Yeah, I know. Go
goodness.
blue. Go Gators.
That's right.
Goodness, Rita, what is your response to sellers who say buyers can use their imagination?
Oh my. It's like a dagger to my heart.
I know.
Because I really want to say no, they can't. No, they cannot. Because that's the truth. They really can't, right? When I tell them, I call it homework, and I say, you don't want to give people homework, right? Because that's a lot of times what they mean. But I try to put it back into dollar terms, because when I hear that imagination thing, most of the time it has to do with actual things that need to be done in the house. I mean, not really even just staging. It's like, well, they're going to want to get their own carpet in here. So we're going to leave this 10-year-old carpet that smells like cats, and we'll just give them a credit so that and I'm like, they don't want that. They don't want a homework assignment. They want to move into this house. Like, they have a situation, okay? Like, let them come into a house that they can move into, because number one, nobody wants the hassle. Everybody is still traumatized from COVID with contractors. And honestly, the contractor situation has not improved that much. It's either it takes forever to get them. Like, in everyone I've talked to, dealing with contractors for anything is such a hassle that when you leave it to the buyer, they're going to add so much money onto what it's going to cost. So if it's going to cost you $3,000 to get this house painted, the buyer is going to think it's going to cost $10,000. And that's how much money you're going to end up taking off the price of the house. But also, it's a scientific fact that some people cannot visualize a home or a space. They have to see things in front of them. A lot of times I have to show them just like a picture, because a lot of times the people who do this imagination thing, they also can't visualize it either. And that's why, I don't know why, but they're just okay with it. But if I show them a before and after and say, if you were a buyer, like, which one of these would be easier for you to buy, then it'll click. then they're like, oh, okay, I get it now. Yeah, I thought we were just putting like a chair in that room. I didn't know we could put a sofa and a chair and a console and pictures and all that. So sometimes I just have to spell it out to them. And unfortunately, I don't always get to them in that stage. So I'm trying to really educate and empower realtors to have that conversation with their clients, because a lot of times that's what the agent, will hear from their client is, well, people can use their imagination. Well, I bought the house vacant. Well, yeah, you bought it vacant, but how did you buy it? How long had it been on the market? How much money below the asking price did you buy the house for? And then it's like, so maybe if you're trying to get top dollar and trying to get it sold right away, then you have to do it differently than when you bought it, Yeah. Sometimes that helps.
I got to make sure I ask this question. This might after you go into your magic toolbox, all right? I might give you a trade secret. Okay. You can tell me if it's a trade secret, you don't answer it. But I said I was going to ask you this one question that everybody wanted to know.
Oh, everybody.
It is, yes. Everybody wanted to know this question.
Oh, Lord.
What's one inexpensive accessory or prop that elevates a listing photo instantly?
Ooh.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, going to that tool.
Inexpensive
Inexpensive is the key word.
Well, define inexpensive for her.
Oh, okay.
Let's go with less than 100.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay. I don't know if I can say just one, because it depends on what space I'm looking at.
You got multiple. Give multiple then.
Okay, so I'm going to give you at least two. I'm going to give you two.
Okay.
Number one, I really do think greenery done well elevates a space. Now, you can't throw greenery into a kitchen countertop that is cluttered and full of stuff, and then you plop a plant there and you're like, boom. It's not going to do it.
That's also that I would try.
It's not going to do it. But, sometimes if you go into a room and the ceilings feel a little bit low, but you place a tree in that corner, it immediately will bring the eye up, and you can get a tree like that for $100, under $100. Or if you're, if it's in the right placement in the room and you've depersonalized and, decluttered and all of that stuff, but it feels a little bit sterile, you add, either a nice flower arrangement or even a faux greenery plant, and it will add that pop of color but make it also feel fresh. So that's why you see, that's why there's some greenery in here, but that's why stagers use so much greenery. I'll give you a second one.
Okay.
I'm going to say large scale art. Large scale art has really got.
We got both of those things.
Great framework studio, yo.
Listen, I said 9.25.
I thought you were lying.
No. I think that well placed, slightly, kind of neutral, large scale art makes a huge difference as well. If you put it in a place that's going to be a focal point, like right when someone walks in, over the sofa, or in a place that's really going to draw the eye, it can help to push the ceiling height up and make the room feel a lot bigger. So
I have one question for you. A controversial topic.
Virtual
staging.
No.
Virtual staging.
No. I was looking at the time. I was like, we're gonna get through this with no virtual staging.
Yeah. So I had to ask. Because we provide it. How do stagers feel about virtual staging?
Okay, so I can't speak for everyone, but most of us really hate it.
I knew it.
Deep passion. We actually do offer a virtual staging product, but I will not virtually stage a house that I'm not physically staging. That's not for me. So what I'll say is I think that virtual staging can help in very specific situations, and in most situations, physical staging is still going to be a much better option.
Yeah, because when they show up to the house, none of the furniture is there.
Exactly.
Through virtual staging.
Exactly. Yeah. So virtual staging, back in the days when houses were selling really fast, and it's going to sell, right? But you want to give it a little extra push. Virtual staging, fine, right? That the pictures will look better, but it's going to sell. You're not worried about it. So I think in that case, virtual staging is okay. I think also when you can stage a couple rooms physically, but you can't afford to do the whole house, but you want to make sure that you differentiate all those other rooms. Virtual staging can be actually a really good tool because you, at least as people are flipping through, they're like, oh, wait a second, we got this bed in this room, this bed. So now they can kind of count through and see we've got 3-4 different bedrooms plus an office. I think that's really helpful if you've done, some physical staging, but you can't afford to do the whole house. Generally speaking, though, virtual staging will leave people like
once they get
feeling
to the
let
house.
down. Yes,
Yeah.
like if you just take photos of a house that's empty, then like my buyer expectation is here, and when I come in, it's gonna be like right about here, maybe like a little bit down. If you virtual stage it and it looks amazing, and then I come in and my buyer expectation comes back down to here, it's going to feel like a drop off.
So what some realtors do is they print out a picture, and as soon as they walk into the room, they have the picture on a easel, and that way the buyer expectation doesn't go all the way down. They're like, okay, this is the photo I saw.
Listen, it gets us a little bit closer.
Yeah.
But
but still, you're right. It's not the same as walking into a room filled with furniture. I agree with that 100%.
When buyers are buying a house, they're not really saying, what do I put here? Can someone give me a floor plan? Like, they want to know that, but they really want to feel a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what people are buying with, is that feeling that the house leaves them with. And the only thing that's going to give them that feeling is knowing and feeling confident and sitting down on a couch and, looking and having your kids run to the room and saying, this is my room. Yeah. That's the feeling that people are going to get. And you really only get that with physical staging or having a house that's furnished and, that's prepared really well. So
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, listen, on that note, we're going to take a break and we'll be right back to Hot Topics live at Fabre Framework Studio. We are now live back at Fabre Framework Studios. And it is that time, my favorite time of our show, which is the hot seat. Welcome to the hot seat, the part of today's show when our experts get 2 minutes to bring the heat and pitch their services directly to you. No filters, no fluff, just real value from real professionals who are here to help you market smarter, stage better, and close more confidently. Let's start with someone who knows how to turn financing into a marketing advantage. Tammy, you are up. This is your moment. Tell our audience why every realtor needs a mortgage marketing partner like you in their corner and how they can connect after today.
Awesome. I'm going to go take longer than 2 minutes. Because, Lake Michigan Credit Union is worth more than 2 minutes to get you to the closing table and partner with the realtors. But we are a full service credit union. We desire to be a tool in the tool belt of all the Bay Area realtors. As a credit union, we have that flexibility. We offer a suite of portfolio products. Like I mentioned earlier to our illustrious producer here, the zero down financing option that we have available, it is property specific. So a lot of times, and we do have these products as well, where if it's down payment assistance that we're utilizing, it's going to be based off income. However, this is there's no income restriction. It's property, and realtors, right? Find my team at Lake Michigan Credit Union. We will go over that with you. The best story that we have on this particular product is one of my loan officers. I have a team of 4 right now. I'm recruiting, so any loan officers come work for LMCU. Come on over. So she had a client, and in the Tampa Bay area. This client was purchasing a condo, utilized this product, put her earnest money down, and because it was 100%, she came to the closing table with 22 cents.
Wow.
I don't know how that happens. Like you wire 22 cents, you pay more for the wire. But yes, that's like the all-time story, and she says all the time, I tell that story to everybody. I repeat the story. But Lake Michigan Credit Union, again, we're full service. We do have the conforming products like the bank and the mortgage brokers. We do sell to Freddie Fannie. We have the agency loans. just like the banks and the brokers. But we do also have our suite of portfolio. We also have the ability on the portfolio products, if it doesn't fit in the box, because not everybody fits in the box for financing, sometimes you got to color outside the lines. And it's okay to color outside the lines.
It is.
But we do have a process that, as long as there's other what as a lender we'll call compensating factors, something strong to offset possibly something that could be borderline, we can submit that and try to get those loans approved on that basis. And we have, and we do, and that happens all day long. We have a great underwriting team. They work with us. One of my loan officers just texted me last night at 10 o'clock. I just talked to the underwriter and I just got my clear to close. So we have a fantastic support team at Lake Michigan Credit Union. So realtors, reach out, contact me, tamara.keel@lmcu.org. Look me up, email me. Let's get you hooked up. Let's get those loans closing for you.
Perfect. Now let's turn the mic over to someone who makes home photos perfect and buyer ready every time. Rita, the floor is yours. Let these agents know why staging isn't optional anymore and how your services can help them stand out and sell faster.
Yes. So, I think everybody knows that in general, our society has moved towards the visual arts in all things, right? Like when we're shopping online, you're going to Instagram and TikTok and you're seeing things. You can shop there, you can find restaurants, you can go on vacations. Like it's all about visuals. And so when you're selling a home, that is really the main way that you're getting people in the door is those visuals. Yes, there's the criteria and people are trying to check their boxes, but when there's a lot of homes on the market, especially as we're kind of leaning more towards a buyer's market than a seller's market, the thing that's going to pull those buyers in is having visuals that really capture them and pull them in. And staging is a no-brainer. Like that's the easiest way to do it, is to make that house look beautiful, show the true potential of it, get it to really shine. I think if you're someone who wants to do listings, and if you call yourself a listing agent, then a stager in your back pocket is a non-negotiable. It's really a surprise and a shock to me how many agents still call me and say, I've never used staging before, I've never talked, but I'm on the way to a listing appointment. So how does it work and how much does it cost? So I think just making sure that you have all the information and get yourself educated will put you in a better position when you go into listing appointments to win those listings, because your clients are going to see you as someone who's an expert and someone who kind of knows the professionals and the experts that are going to be required to get the job done for them. Recently, actually, the house closes tomorrow. I have an agent who she was taking over a listing that had been on the market for months. Like I think it's between 4 to 6 months. And she got this listing from an investor, just like a tiny little, not so cute house in Oldsmar. And she said he doesn't want to pay for staging. He feels like he's already put enough money into it, but I really feel like it has to be staged. And so she called us. We gave her our smallest staging package. It was like a 24-hour turnaround. We just went in there and whipped it together. And the house is closing tomorrow, and we staged it on May 5th. So that's less than a month from staging to closing on a house that had been on the market for months prior to that, and that the seller had kind of given up on a little bit. That agent gets to be the hero. She really swooped in and saved the day. The seller doesn't even really know who we are, but she gets to be the person who got it done. He's an investor. He's going to come to her with everything else he has and say, work that same magic that you did last time. And so as an agent, you really have that power for people to take them out of that stressful, frustrating situation, make it work. And we are full service. So we can do that on an occupied house. We can do that on a vacant house. We really have solutions at just about every range of the budget. So we're here and we love to help.
Plug in your socials,
So our company is Olive Leaf Staging, and our socials are super easy. We're just at Olive Leaf Staging on Instagram and at Olive Leaf Staging on Facebook. We do have a YouTube. Oh, look at this! This is my website. We do have a YouTube page that has maybe a couple videos, but we're working on getting more on there. But it's just, it's probably / Olive Leaf Staging on YouTube as well. So you can find us anywhere. Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Thank you, Rita.
Yeah.
Well, man, that's a wrap on the hot seat. But remember, the right partnerships aren't an expense. They're your edge. Reach out, collaborate, and start building the kind of listing to closing strategy that sets you apart.
That's it.
And that brings us to the end of the episode of Hot Topics, recorded live at the Fabre Framework Studio. A huge thank you to our panelists for sharing your strategies that go beyond surface level tips and straight into real results driven action. And remember, whether it's a lender who makes your marketing smarter or a stager who makes your listing shine, the right partners don't just support your business, they help define your success. Make sure to follow, subscribe, and share this episode with someone in your circle who's ready to elevate their real estate game. This is your host signing off, and until next time, keep pushing boundaries, delivering value, and standing out like the star you are.